These, just wanted to let you know that we've got a Discord channel. You should come along and join us there. These videos actually go up on this Discord channel in the first instance. Then they later on will go on to YouTube and other social medias, but they're always here first. So why not join us here and get the latest news as it happens. Other things I wanted to talk about was the rate expectations have stalled, i.e. the market no longer believes the Fed will be hiking, and rate cut expectations have been brought forward. So now they're looking at December rate cuts, and the rate hikes, the market believes that they won't be hiking as aggressively as it did. Data overnight wasn't the best, so final GDP showing a minus 1.6, which isn't fabulous. So that's the news overnight. Something else I wanted to talk about was the dashboard that you get with when you get a prop account or a funded account, as some people call them. And this is the metrics that you have on from us on your account, where you can see what your rules are depending on the program that you're in, how you're tracking on your targets, what your sort of metrics are, and there is no cycle time, so that doesn't matter. But yeah, it's a little nifty tool for you to keep an eye on how you're tracking. So let's go and have a look at the markets and what they're doing. US dollar majors, we're seeing that despite the bonds being sold off. So let's go and have a look at bonds. Bonds coming off again as the market's looking for interest rate cuts now at the end of the year rather than further hikes. So how much further will the US dollar go? That's an interesting question. I still see that previous high being hit. I've got a feeling that these lows in the Kiwi and the Aussie will get taken out, and even these lows in the Euro being tested, and we're currently short the Euro, as you can see. Dollar yen pushed through and made a higher high, but just pulled back slightly. Don't see that as a major issue. That should continue to go that direction. Whilst the loonie was a little weaker off the back of oil getting smashed overnight, and I'm actually long the loonie against the yen, so we can go and have a look at that. But pound, happy to remain short. This trade's a bit of a longer trade than the others in that the target's quite a distance away. Don't see much upside for the pound. So whilst the commodity markets are all on, looking a little not as weak as the European zone, I think that we're still going to see a bit of a US dollar bid as the flight to safety takes hold. Looking at the commodity markets, we see oil putting in a bearish engulfing bar. We're back at the moving average. I don't see that bearish engulfing bar being too much of a worry. It really didn't sort of react to a major level. I think it was more just news driven at the time being. But all the energy markets are a little weaker overnight. Copper still going nowhere after having such a major move. It's just consolidating down here. And the precious metals tried to have a bid, but finished back unchanged effectively. So no major shift in sentiment there. Indices a little weaker overnight, but sort of closing while US is closing on the unchanged, and that seems to be across the board there. With rate cuts coming forward, they're looking at December now for rate cuts rather than sort of February, March. If that is the scenario that's going to play out, then stocks will probably be bid for a bit more. Did have a little trade on the DAX overnight. Made a bit on that in the shorter time frame, but it looks like the markets probably might just tread water here and wait to see. We've got an inflation number coming out of the US this week, but yeah, I think it's the stocks are just a little tricky right now for the end of quarter, end of financial year in some sectors. Excuse me. So it might be a little tricky to try and trade stocks over the next or the remainder of this week. So looking at the majors, if you're not in these two already, you might want to trade them on the shorter time frames. Kiwi, you could look for a break on break of this. There's still, it's not exhausted yet, so there's still plenty of downside available for it. Not sure if I'd get short the CAD. It's more of a ranging market than anything else. And the Aussie, there's a bit of support around the 68.50 mark, and maybe a break on that, or look to trade that in shorter time frames. And we'll just go in and touch on the yens, because I don't see the yen weakness stopping. Clearly the euro and the pound are weaker than the yen, so you want to trade the yen against a stronger currency such as the dollar. And I did have the loonie, I still got the loonie on, but I've moved my stop up because it's starting to falter. So stop is at 0.5% risk now. I'm still setting the target. We'll see how that sort of pans out, but we're starting to sort of manage our exposure. We don't want this trade to sort of end up costing us too much if the loonie reverses on weaker oil. And we'll maybe trade the yen on against the US dollar on the shorter time frames. So that's it for today, guys. End of quarter today, so it might be a bit tricky, and we'll see you tomorrow. Thanks.